Hello everyone, welcome back. As you can see, it's snowing like crazy outside today. I had a couple of projects I wanted to do out there. One of them was going to be butchering the goats, but it's only 2 degrees out there and it's snowing pretty good. Snow is supposed to blow through here pretty quick, but tomorrow it's supposed to warm up, so some of those outside projects I'll do then. For those of you that watch a lot of the videos that I post, especially the ones from up north, you realize that I love pork steaks and I love to make canned fried potatoes. And I can my own potatoes and bring them up north, and of course they have to get pulled out for winter so they don't freeze, but I used up all of my canned potatoes. So now that it's a crappy day outside, I'm going to can a whole bunch of potatoes, and I've gotten several people have asked how do I can potatoes, and it's super simple, and I can never believe that people want to know how to can potatoes, but I thought this time I might as well video it. Okay, so the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get some potatoes. Now, if you guys watched the gardening videos this year, I grew a lot of potatoes, and I still have a whole bunch of them. But I kind of prefer to eat those, because I grew them. I like to make baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, and stuff like that. So when I can potatoes, I just wait till they go on sale at the store, and I buy those because I don't have enough to do both. I didn't grow that many potatoes last year. So I'm going to start with this 10 pounds of white potatoes. I prefer red potatoes when I bake them or whenever I cook them. But these were on sale. Once you can them, it's not that big of a deal. Another thing is, one reason why I really like cooking up the canned potatoes is that once they're canned, they do get a little bit of a different taste. So I'm sure you guys have eaten the canned potatoes that you buy in the store, and there's just a unique kind of a little bit of a taste to them that I really enjoy. So we're going to get these washed up right now. If I don't have enough to fill up 7-quart jars to do in my canner, then I'll grab some of my reds and we'll cook some of it, or cut some of them up too. Now when you wash these potatoes up, you want to get them washed pretty good, because any little bad spots you see on them, get rid of those. A lot of people like to peel them. I'll explain that in a little bit, but I do not. So meanwhile, when you're doing your washing up your potatoes, you should get some water in your canner. I put about 3 inches on the bottom of mine. I'm sure every canner, they have a different amount you're supposed to, but 2-3 inches is usually right in there. I go up to 3 because some of it's going to evaporate a little bit when I'm waiting for everything to heat up and I'm getting everything cut up. So anyway, get your water started so you don't have to wait for that. You're going to have to heat up another container of water to boiling, because this water is what you're going to pour over the potatoes once they're put into the jars. Okay, so now with your jars, I'm doing quarts this time. Like I said, I've done it in pints before, but I find that every time I want to make a batch of fried canned potatoes, I have to open up 2 pints, so it's worthless for me to do that. So I'm just going to put them in quarts. This is another thing that, to me, in my mind, I debate. I am going to put these in the oven at like 240 degrees and leave them in there for 20 minutes or whatever to kill the bacteria that's in there. You can put them in your dishwasher, you can put them in, boil them in water, or whatever to kill it. And in my mind, I debate that because I'm going to be putting it in a pressure canner that's going to go over 240 degrees. I see no reason why you have to do that, but it's one of the things that I do to keep it safe, so maybe you guys should do that too. One thing that is super important is that you get your lids moistened up. They don't have to really boil that much, but get some hot water on them so these seals get soft and will seal real good. So I always do that. Okay, once you got all that stuff started, back to washing more potatoes. After you get your potatoes washed up, if you're doing little small potatoes, new potatoes like that size, you can do them whole. I always just slice mine up. If they're small like new potatoes, I like to eat those and not can them. So just cut them up into pieces. Look at I see this one here, we got a bad spot, pull that out. one thing that people debate when they're doing potatoes, you can find just as many recipes online where they peel them or don't peel them. Some people peel them, put them into a solution of water and like lemon juice to retain the color and then they go ahead and blanch them for 2 minutes if they're little, 10 minutes if they're whole. I don't do any of that. When I can something, for me, if I'm canning something, I want it done quick. It takes enough time the way it is. So I don't peel it. I just make sure I wash it good. I don't blanch it. I'm just going to go right into the jar. And, you know, it's not going to look exactly like one that come from the store. No. You know, but if you wanted it to look like one from the store, go buy them from the store. I just want them to taste good. I'm canning them. I want them to last a long time. I want to be able to bring them up north where I don't have to worry about any kind of refrigeration, or if I'm not up there for a month, my potatoes aren't going to grow eyes and they're not going to be any good. I can to can, not to make it look pretty. So as you get them cut up, go ahead and grab a hot jar out of the oven. Just start packing them in there. Wide mouth jars work good for this. You can get a little bit, it's easier to put them in there, but I like the looks and how they stack better when I use a regular mouth, so I use those. And you just want to stay a good inch down from the top. Okay, so there we have our 7 quarts of potatoes. The reason why I'm doing 7, that's how many quarts my cooker will hold. And then this is how many potatoes we had left out of a 10-pound bag. Alright, now before we put in the boiling water, you can either not put in any salt, or you can put in salt. Directions always say a half a teaspoon for pints, a full teaspoon for quarts. I usually just put a half a teaspoon in the quarts. It's only for flavor, does nothing else, and I feel like I'm not putting too much salt in. Alright, after you got your salt in, it's time to put hot water in there. Just ladle it in. You want to stay 1 inch from the top, like right below this ring right here. Gives it room for expansion. After you've got your water in, make sure you go through and get the air bubbles out. You can see those bubbles come out. There's a lot of spaces in potatoes. We want to try to keep the air spaces out so everything cooks evenly. After you do that, you'll have to adjust your water height again, add a little bit more. One thing you want to make sure and do is to wipe your lids. I mean, that's something that everybody tells you every time, but it sure sucks to go through all this work and then have one that doesn't seal because you didn't wipe your lid. Okay, after that part's done, you're almost there. Put your hot lids on. After you put your lids on, you're going to have to do your bands. And these here, we're just going to go down like this, that tight. Just finger tighten them. Just like that. So after that, it's ready to go into the canner. Just place all your jars in this boiling water, like so. Alright, now that we have them all in the canner, we're just going to leave this open for now and just wait till this comes to a nice boil. And then from there, we'll put on the lid. I like to let mine come back up to a boil with the lid open versus putting the top on, so it's kind of a slower heat up. I'm not saying that that would help, but there's been many times when I've had broken jars before, so this is kind of, everything's kind of heating up together. One real nice thing about canning on a cold winter type day is that the whole house gets so dry when it's that cold out, and this is just, it feels so much warmer in here just because of all the moisture. Okay, now that this has all come to a rolling boil, everything is nice and hot, I'm going to put my lid on. We are not going to put the weight on yet. I'm going to let this sit, and when this starts blowing steady steam, I'm going to let it sit for at least 10 minutes so everything is equally, you know, all the right temperature in there, same pressure and everything. Okay, so now it just started blowing out a good steam. I'm going to let that sit for at least 10 minutes. Okay, so this has been venting for about 12 minutes now. I'm going to put my weight on there. I'm going to want to do this at around 11 pounds of pressure. So when this builds up to right when it hits 11, I will turn down the knob. And then we'll just try to keep it between 11. It'll probably jump all the way up to 12 and stuff. I need to stay above 10, so I always do things at about 11 so I can stay in my range. Okay, so we're just hitting 11 pounds. I'm going to start my timer at 40 minutes. And I'm going to turn, for my stove anyway, I've got to go all the way down to 2 at first, even a little bit lower, so this won't go way too high. It'll stay right, just go just above 11, and then it'll just kind of hover there. Alright, so now all we're going to do is keep it at 11 pounds for those 40 minutes, and then we'll be back. Okay, well, 40 minutes is up. We're still running at 11 pounds. Now I'm just going to slide this off, shut off the heat, and I'm going to let this cool down all by itself till the pressure is gone. Okay everyone, well there you have it. All these are done. They've already sealed. I just waited until the pressure went all the way down. I left it in there for a few hours and then I just pulled them out. Some people like to wait 24 hours to pull the caps, the rings, but I do it. As long as you can touch it and it's cool enough, it's good. So now you know how to can potatoes. Thanks a lot for watching.